When Zagan, a formidable sorcerer, ventures into an auction for the possessions of the deceased Archdemon, he anticipates uncovering potent relics. Yet, amidst the array of items, he is captivated by the presence of Nephilia, a rare white-haired elf being auctioned as a slave. Zagan impulsively spends his entire fortune to acquire her by an immediate and undisclosed attraction. However, Zagan faces a challenge. He struggles with social interactions and expressing his emotions. Will he be able to overcome his social issues and express his love for Nephilia? The story begins with a soldier named Myers assaulting a girl. She demands to know why, only to discover that the soldier is actually a sorcerer in disguise. Using his knife, the sorcerer tears the girl's clothes and mentions something about a living virgin's face being important. Before the sorcerer can do more harm, a man named Zagan sneaks up from behind and grabs him. Zagan, the owner of the garden, demands to know why the sorcerer is causing trouble. Realizing he's in Zagan's territory, the sorcerer offers his research data in exchange for his freedom. Zagan refuses, stating he won't tolerate sorcery that involves harming others, and promptly dispatches the sorcerer. Witnessing the violence, the girl faints, and Zagan worries he may have gone too far. He restores everything to how it was, hoping the girl will think it was all a dream. Noticing a cross necklace on the girl, Zagan realizes she's associated with the church, enemies of sorcerers. Despite saving her, Zagan knows he'll likely be blamed for the attack but decides he doesn't care. He attempts to teleport the girl to safety, but someone's magic interferes with his spell. Zagan suspects it's the work of Barbaros and wonders if he's interrupted something. Zagan explains that he was just dealing with a troublemaker in his yard, and Barbaros notices the girl lying nearby has a good amount of mana. Barbaros wonders if Zagan plans to use her for a ritual sacrifice, but Zagan assures him that's not his style, and promptly teleports the girl away. Barbaros expresses disappointment, suggesting Zagan should have let him have the girl if he wasn't going to use her. Zagan brushes off the comment, saying he doesn't have time for such nonsense and needs to go to bed after staying up late reading sorcery books. As Zagan tries to leave, Barbaros stops him, suggesting he could wake up by tweaking his brain with adrenaline. Zagan retorts that such sorcery is what caused Barbaros to have his messed up appearance. Barbaros defends body manipulation as basic sorcery to maintain health and longevity, although they still have a limit of about 1,000 years. Changing the subject, Barbaros reveals that one of the archdemons named Marcosius is dead, sharing interesting news with Zagan. Zagan is surprised to hear this news, explaining that becoming an archdemon grants immense mana and authority over lesser sorcerers. Archdemons are considered the top of the sorcery hierarchy, and out of the 13 archdemons, the one who lived for 1,000 years recently passed away. Barbaros mentions a significant auction happening in Marcosius's territory, where the late archdemons' belongings will be up for sale. The scene shifts to Zagan heading to Marcosius's territory with Barbaros, realizing that Barbaros only informed him about the auction because he wants to borrow money. Barbaros suggests he might buy the legacy himself, but Zagan finds it unfair. Barbaros argues that Zagan is the only one who would lend him money, and if he does, he'll help him meet some nice girls. Zagan brushes off the idea, saying women cause more trouble than they're worth, and notices the city guards acting nervously. Barbaros explains that the city is tense due to a series of kidnapping, with some foolish people snatching women for sorcery experiment. Zagan finds this dangerous, noting it's akin to provoking the church. Barbaros speculates they might be attempting to summon a real demon, though Zagan considers it mere folklore. Descending underground for the auction, Barbaros reveals that Zagan is under suspicion for the kidnapping. Zagan denies involvement, stating he has no interest in such dark sorcery. Barbaros remarks that orchestrating the kidnappings would be beyond Zagan's capability, as he lacks the necessary allies. Arriving at the auction, Barbaros introduces the prominent figures present, including Valefor the Apparition, Gremory the Enchantress, and Chimerus the Black Blade. Zagan explains that these second names are like titles for sorcerers. Barbaros informs Zagan that they are candidates to become the 13th Archdemon, now that old Marcosius is gone, and he himself is one of the candidates. Zagan wonders who decides the 13th Archdemon, and Barbaros explains it's determined by the remaining 12 Archdemons. Gremory also notices Barbaros, known as the Purgatory, and Zagan, and she questions why Zagan, who is young and lacks a title, is among the Archdemon candidates. The auctioneer then presents their final item, explaining it was meant for Archdemon Marcosius, but was left behind after his passing. They reveal it's an elf from the distant Northern Holy Land. Zagan is surprised to see the silver-haired elf, and the auctioneer emphasizes the elf's closeness to gods and natural spirits, making her magical properties highly valuable. Bidding starts at 10,000, and Zagan immediately bids 1 million for the elf, stunning everyone. Zagan is captivated by the elf's beauty and desires to help her, make her smile, and touch her. He feels like he's found something unexpected and approaches the stage. Feeling socially awkward, Zagan wonders what to say to the elf and questions why she's chained. The host explains the collar contains her mana, preventing her from escaping. Zagan expresses a desire to talk to her and hear her voice, unintentionally giving the auction attendees the wrong impression. The scene shifts to Zagan in his castle with the girl, feeling unsure about what to do next after bringing her home. He knows he'll have to talk to her eventually, and runs through different conversation scenarios in his head, but none seem right. The elf then asks if she can ask a question, and Zagan finds her voice sweet. He encourages her to ask, and she wonders how she'll be killed, hoping to prepare herself. Zagan reassures her he won't harm her, but noticing the equipment in his room, she fears something worse than death. Zagan explains the equipment belonged to the castle's previous owner, and he has no interest in torture. He struggles to ask for her name, but before he can, the girl introduces herself as Nephilia. Zagan finds her name beautiful and asks about her family name. Nephilia says she doesn't have one and suggests he call her Nephi. Zagan thinks her nickname is cute and asks if it's common for elves not to have family names. Nephilia explains that it's unusual, revealing she's a cursed child. She shows Zagan her undergarments, saying she's a virgin to reassure him, but he asks her to stop. Nephilia thought Zagan was worried she'd be used for experiments, but he assures he won't do that. She questions why he bought her, but Zagan evades, feeling embarrassed about his feelings for her. Despite his excitement about living together, he wants to maintain his dignity. Zagan offers her a room, asking her preferences. Nephilia jokingly wonders if he's asking where she wants to die, but Zagan reassures he won't harm her. He realizes Nephilia may have been sold as a slave and lied to about being a test subject or sacrifice. She doesn't want to discuss it and likely has no home. Zagan empathizes, sharing he didn't have a last name, grew up in the slums, and was called Yagan. He sees a connection between them. Zagan then explains to Nephilia that he bought her because he needed her, urging her not to speak of dying anymore. Nephilia is surprised by his words, but Zagan reassures her that from now on, she will live for his sake. She understands and follows him as he takes her to her room. Thinking she deserves a nice view, Zagan asks if she's afraid of heights. Nephilia replies that she isn't, so Zagan leads her to a room on the upper floors. While climbing the stairs, Nephilia stumbles, but Zagan catches her, reminding her to be careful. Feeling embarrassed, he continues holding her hand as they ascend. Upon reaching the topmost room, Zagan opens the door, only to quickly close it upon seeing a guillotine inside. Nephilia then suggests to Zagan that he can take her head if he wants to, but Zagan explains that the guillotine is just a trap to protect the castle from airborne enemies. He promises to get rid of it and uses his magic to remove everything from the room. Although the room is now uninhabitable, Zagan believes Nephilia shouldn't be scared anymore. However, Nephilia appears to be afraid of Zagan after witnessing his power. Zagan agrees that the room now feels gloomy, so Nephilia goes to the balcony. As she gazes at the moon, Zagan asks if she likes it. Nephilia replies that she doesn't know and wonders if it's okay for her to stay in this room. Zagan reassures her that it's fine as long as she doesn't mind the mess, and Nephilia says it's okay because this is the room her master prepared for her. Grateful, she thanks Zagan, surprising him as he hasn't been thanked in a long time. Nephilia adds that she hasn't thanked anyone in a long time either. This brings an end to episode 1. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more anime recaps.